Time to talk golf. It's that time of week, Tuesday. All right, let's get with the field. And so, look, it's all at the top. It's all about Scotty and JT. And with Scotty, look, here's the deal. And we talk about this a lot where even though on a regular basis it makes no sense at all with these fields, we're already seeing it this year with these crazy winners to because you got to put up a lot of money, invest a lot of money on Scotty Scheffler at 5-1. But this is one of those weeks where I'm going to say, if you're going to do it a few times a year, if you're going to risk it at 4-1, 5-1, this would be the event that I would say go right ahead. If you have a few $100, you want to put it all on Scotty Scheffler, I'm all right with that. And obviously the same thing with Justin Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on Scotty, and man, winning this event 3 times in a row would be crazy. But like I said, just looking at his putting numbers here, last year gained 4.2 strokes putting. 2022 gained 6.5 strokes putting. 2021 gained 5.1 strokes putting. This is Scotty Scheffler, who usually is losing strokes to the field putting, but whatever it is about these greens, he tends to like them. And again, if he gains 4 strokes putting again this week, he's probably going to win. So
yeah.
I'm not gonna bet him. 5-1 just doesn't get me going in golf. But again, and Data Golf's numbers back it up. They say he basically should be at this price. So it's a fine bet if you want to make that your card for the week.
I'll give you something to do. And look, parlays. Let's keep this in mind. Parlays in any sport. It's important that you understand that if you're going to do a parlay, it's usually best to do it when the event or the games are at the same time. For instance, if you do a parlay with, let's say you do a European Tour event and it ends at 12 o'clock, and then you can hedge your bet. I mean, you can go right to the final round and you can parlay it, whatever. You've got and the same thing with football. You got a game at 1, you got a game at 4. That's when you want to think about not doing it. And the reason I'm saying that is because you're only making a little bit more money than if you just do a straight bet. What you're going to do is do that 1 o'clock straight bet, and then whatever money you make off the 1 o'clock straight bet, just put it on 4 o'clock. It's the same thing. You're making a little bit more, and you could also, change your mind or whatever. But when it does make sense is when you do have it going on at the same time. Or, of course, if you're also doing something where you have a 4-day event, because the odds obviously change. So this would be a week where I would say, you know what, maybe you do Scotty Scheffler and Jon Rahm. I mean, Jon Rahm is 4-1 to win the live this week. Scheffler's 5-1. I did it. I put I think $3 down, and it's $100.
There you go.
So why not? I mean, this way. You're in a situation where, and by the way, you could do the same thing with the European event. Like I said, that does end early. So let's say you like someone in that event, maybe put straight money on them. Like my Lombard guy who almost won again. He's going to win one of these weeks, and I'm going to cash in. So let's say he wins and you put straight money on him, but then you throw a couple of bucks on him at 18-1 this week with Scheffler. I just told you Rahm at 4-1 with Scheffler. I only had to put $3 to make 100. So just imagine what you can make if you put Lombard at 18-1 in Scheffler. Now you're making several $100, and then let's say Lombard wins. Now you're in a great position because now you got Scheffler sitting there going into the final round if he's winning or if he's in contention. Because obviously you can still do your own live betting, and especially if one of your players that you already put money on in the beginning of the week is not there. So this is just some tips of how I've been able to circumvent these odds and try to take advantage of them as best I can. Justin Thomas, in his last 6 events, all top 12s, including 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, and 3rd. Who knows if Justin Thomas wins on Sunday or Monday, if there would have been a Sunday or a Monday. It just didn't work out for Justin, but he is red hot, and he is excellent at this event as well. 7 top 20s in 9 appearances with 3 top 5s. His last 5 appearances, all top 15s, including 4 top 10s and 3 top 5s. I picked him last year on my one and done. And even though he didn't win, he had a top 5, and it ended up being his only top 5 of the year. So it worked out for me, even though my one and done sucked last year. But that's the question, again, you're going to have this week, is as much as we like Scheffler and Thomas, this is not a signature event.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I also think Justin Thomas is going to be very popular as a one and done play. So,
Yep.
Man, if Justin Thomas wins this event, I'm going to be in a bad place on Sunday because I was all over him last week, and man, he played well enough to win. I watched almost every hole he played because I was betting him, and he was on the feature groups on ESPN Plus. He was hitting it awesome, could not make a putt. So yeah, he is super alive to win this event. I woke up Monday morning and Justin Thomas was 16-1 on DraftKings because, at that point Victor Hovland and Xander Schauffele were still in the field, and I came close to hitting Thomas at 16-1. I didn't do it. The withdrawals came. He's down to 10-1. I can't quite get there at 10-1, but he is super alive to win this event, and I'm hoping he doesn't because I want to bet him again next week at Riviera. I think with a stronger field, he might be back up to like 20-1. I would love to bet him at that one, but I didn't bet him this week, praying he doesn't win.
Well, again, because that is the thing, is that, all right, well, let's say, because if he does win, like you said, a lot of people are going to bet on him this week on one and done. Yep. The only good thing is that they've wasted him on Phoenix, and if we get him in a signature event, then we're besting them. But you gotta beat them, and it's not easy.
Yeah.
But especially if he wins this week, it almost, you're like, all right, I gotta wait now for another event because the chances of winning back-to-back weeks are just pretty slim. So.
But between the fact that this isn't elevated and that he's going to be super popular, I don't think he's a great one and done play.
I agree.
This week.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, I agree. But like you said, we just have to sit there. That's why it's a good idea to just see. I know it's 10-1, and I can't invest a lot of money on him, but I have invested enough on him just to try to make something, because if he does win, I have to make something on him. I just have to. I can't be shut out the entire week if he wins and then lose on fantasy. And then, so I have to make at least, even if it's just make my money back, I got to make some, but I can't invest heavily in him or Scheffler. It's too low.
He's back. He's back. He's the Justin Thomas of,
that's right.
2022 and earlier. Whatever happened last year is gone. And I think Justin Thomas is going to win very soon. I hope it's not this week.
And when he does, watch out. He's going to be very dangerous. Oh, you know what? We didn't talk about this last week, and I haven't even checked, but as of last week, he was still 30-1 in the majors.
Wow.
Check it out.
I might go around and see what he is for the Masters, because I've always thought he's a guy who's going to win the Masters at some point.
Yep. So
tell you what, I made a Masters bet about a week ago.
Okay.
Will Zalatoris.
All right, there you go. I like it. What was he?
I've seen 40-1.
Okay. I'm surprised he wasn't better than that, actually.
I've seen enough. Yeah, I think it's lower than he was maybe a month ago, but
probably. Yeah.
On DraftKings, Thomas is down to 22-1 for the Masters.
And what about the others?
Might have missed the 30s.
He's probably higher on the others, though, because the Masters is probably smaller field.
U.S. Open, he's 25-1.
Okay.
PGA Championship, which is where he
dominates,
plays very well, he is 28-1. That's not a bad one.
So he's coming down, but yeah, the odds are still good because he could easily, by the time he gets even to the Masters, he could easily be 14-1 by then, 12-1
for sure.
So, all right, now you've got the next grouping. You have Homa, Spieth. We could even throw in Burns and Clark. So Clark winning 2 weeks in a row, that's going to be really hard to do, even though he didn't legitimately kind of win. So maybe that's something to keep an eye on. But it also is a good thing for Clark because now he's got his game going again, which is important. And you would think that his game fits this golf course,
sure.
Even though historically he's played it 5 times. He has just one top 10, but that was last year. when he finished 10th. And that's another thing that the trends tell you is a lot of guys that have won here recently have had at least a top 10 or something that good in prior events here, appearances here. So Homa, meanwhile, just one top 10, but at least he has one. He's made all 5 cuts, but nothing great here so far. And Jordan Spieth has 4 top 10s, 6th last year. But Jordan is again, after that disappointing showing at Pebble last week. I mean, that's 2 straight years of being disappointing at Pebble, which is kind of strange. I don't know. You get the feeling that Jordan is going to kind of probably come out of nowhere one of these weeks when he's not exactly playing great. Could be this week when he's not exactly on his game from the week before and he's just going to win, and because that's what he does. But out of this group, Clark and also Burns, by the way. Burns had missed 3 of his first 4 cuts here, but then was 6th last year. So Burns, Spieth, Homa, and Clark. I know where you're going because I'm going to put our picks up right now. You like Clark?
Yeah, Clark is a bet for me. Among the other 3, Burns was the one I looked closest at. I like how he's playing out. He obviously played well at Amex. I think there's some crossover between those 2 courses. Both kind of desert golf courses. Homa and Spieth just struggled enough last week to kind of get me off them. Not to say they can't bounce right back and win. But yeah, I mean, Clark, I know winning back-to-back would be tough. He did last year win Wells Fargo and the U.S. Open in the span of 4 starts for him. So he's kind of done this before where he's rattled off a couple wins in a short time span. He is 16th in course history here over the last 5 years. Like you said, the 10th place last year. He's putted well on these greens. He's gained strokes putting in 3 straight appearances here. And like we said earlier on that par 5 scoring list, he's the 2nd best par 5 scorer in this field. He's obviously a long driver of the golf ball. So I do think this is a good fit for Wyndham Clark. I think he could go back to back.
I'm going to pop up the picks right now. My first pick is Justin Thomas, $15 out of the 100. I just did it to get my money back if he wins. Like I said, I don't want to not have – I have to have something on him. So at least I figured, all right, if he wins, I still think if we're making like just, hey, who do you like? You can only put money down on one player. What are you doing? I'm putting money on Justin Thomas. I don't know about you, but that's what I'm, again, if your money depended on it, I have to make money. I got to pay a bill. I can only do it on one player. I'm putting it on Justin Thomas.
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of my sanity, I probably should. But I'm trying to stay disciplined and back guys at good value. Yeah. I just don't, So going back to data golf, and not that their projections here are the gospel and are perfect, but again, they have Scotty Scheffler. His fair value is plus 530. Justin Thomas's fair value is basically 16-1.
Sure.
Again, which is what he was.
I would agree with that.
Which he was on Monday morning, and I wish I had hit him then. But 10-1's just a bit too short for me.
Yeah, because some of the, especially Homa. I mean, Homer's been winning. He's had wins, and right. Justin just hasn't had a win in a while, and that means something. You got to get that monkey off your back, and he hasn't been able to. Because let's keep this in mind. I mean, he had a perfect opportunity to win Amex, perfect.
Yep.
But he didn't do anything. He was like 3 under par. All he had to do was be like 5 or 6 under par. It's yours, and he let an amateur basically outplay him on Sunday. So as good as he's playing, there is a little bit of you got to get that monkey off your back to win again.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said even for someone like Justin Thomas, who just it had been a year plus since he'd been in the mix. There's something to getting back in that position and just feeling that pressure again on Sunday. And now that he's done it,
he's got it. Yep.
I think he's going to win soon.
All right, now let's run through some of these others, and because we got a lot in this grouping here. Matter of fact, On is your top pick. at 25-1. And boy, does his numbers come down. He was 40-1 just about 24 hours ago. So everybody is jumping on our boy Benny On, who has 2 top 10s on this golf course. 31st last week, 25-1. That's about, you can't go lower than that. But it's getting to the point now where it's starting to get a little low.
Yeah, the number definitely feels gross. Now, what makes me feel better about it, again, referencing Data Golf, they have Ben On as the 4th most likely player to win this event. They have Scotty Scheffler 1, Justin Thomas 2, Max Homa 3, Ben On 4, and they have his fair value number at 27-1.
Okay.
So, again, according to their stuff, this isn't really a bad number for Ben On. It feels that way, but he checks all the boxes for me this week. He's obviously playing well. You mentioned the finishes. He is actually 2nd in this field in total strokes gained over the last month. He's 19th in course history over the last 5 years. That includes a 9th place in 2020, a 20th place in 2019. So he's been up there a couple times in this tournament. And then just course fit wise, over the last 12 months, so we talked about off the tee game being important. He's 7th best in this field, strokes gained off the tee. Over the last 12 months, he's 25th best in par 5 scoring. So it makes sense that he would play well here.
And let's keep in mind, he has never won a PGA Tour event, but he's going to get it done this year, and he's a definite good-looking one-and-done candidate for sure. Yes. I've already taken him. Of course, missed out on when he lost the playoff. I've taken Post on. I like him this week. Thigala's already off my board, and he could be somebody to keep an eye on this week because he had that big showing in his first appearance where he kind of blew it down the stretch, but still finished 3rd. Might as well finish with yours because you only have 3, and your other is Im at 30-1, and Sung Jae. Just like we talked about some of these other guys, he has some good experience here. All 4 of his appearances were top 35s, including 2 top 10s.
Yeah, I'm really trying to follow these trends of, guys who have played well here in the past, and just guys in this, 11 to 50-1 range that have won here 9 straight times. That's why I kind of went with 3 of these guys in this mid-range. Sung Jae, disappointing the first 2 rounds at Pebble, but he closed strong. He shot 6 under on Saturday. Most people didn't even probably realize it because he was so far down the leaderboard, but he did have a good Saturday, which I like to see. Like we said, 4th in event history over the last 5 years. Sung Jae came 6th place here last year, 17th in 2021, 34th in 2020, 7th in 2019, gained strokes putting in all 4 of those appearances. So he's someone who is, has done well on these greens. And another guy, you don't think of Sung Jae. He's not a long hitter, but he is 12th best strokes gained off the tee over the last 12 months in this field. And he's also 3rd best in par 5 scoring. So despite the fact that he's not, super long, he does do well on par 5s. I think, that explains why he's done so well here in the past.
Yeah. And there's another one that needs to kind of break through and get another win on the PGA Tour. Okay. For sure. Now, my picks are, several of them are around here, including Post On. So Post On at 30-1. I know it doesn't look like this is a good fit for him, but and he does have an 11th, which was a few years ago. But the guy's just red hot right now. He's made 13 straight cuts. 11 of those are top 25, 7 top 10s, 3 top 5s, and a runner-up. He's just too hot for me at that number to pass up. And so that's why I think I made him. I think he's my number 1 pick outside of Justin Thomas. But he's like my number 1 pick. And then I have 3 others in this grouping: Bo Hostler at 45-1, Cameron Young at 35-1, and Eric Cole at 40-1. Now, Young is probably out of left field a little bit, but all you have to do is take a look at Clark last week. Doesn't really show much at this golf course, but let's remember his 64th last year. He had a 26th the first time he played here, which is okay. The 64th last year, he had no rest. He finished 2nd in a Saudi event, and then with no rest came here and played Phoenix. To me, that's a good enough excuse of why he didn't have a great week. He had a pretty good showing overseas just a few weeks ago. He's still trying to get his game going. I could see Young pulling a Clark this week because I think his game is tailor made for this golf course. Cole, meanwhile, what could we say about Cole? If you look at it, once again, he's playing. He hasn't missed an event so far this year. 13 top 35s in his last 14, 8 top 15s, 4 top 5s, and a runner-up. He'll be playing here for the first time. Hostler just continues to be hot. 9 straight cuts with 6 top 20s, 3 top 10s, and a runner-up. His best finish on this course was last year when he finished 14th. So what do you think about those players there? Cole, Hostler, Poston, and Young.
Yeah, I mentioned Ben On being second in strokes gained total over the last month. First on that list is JT Poston. So he's the hottest golfer in this field. So I think he makes a lot of sense. Cam Young, I looked at and considered. And like you said, the course history isn't awesome here, but he should. You talk about someone who's good off the tee and is a good par 5 scorer. That's Cam Young. So he should be good here. I think 35-1. I think he might even still be 40-1 on some other places. I think he's definitely someone to consider. I think it makes a lot of sense.
All right, and then as far as other players that we did not take around here, Fitzpatrick is 30-1. He was 29th last year and 10th in his first go around, so that's pretty strong. So keep an eye on Fitzpatrick. Thigala is 35-1. Matsuyama, who's been dominant here with the 2 wins, he's 35-1. Anybody else in this range that you were keeping an eye on?
Thigala is the one I looked at the most in this range. Hideki's tough. Like the dominance here is kind of a ways back now.
True.
He hasn't been great the last couple times here. Yep. And he just obviously hasn't been great so far this year. So I think it's a him. Yeah, Sahith. I mean, you talked about that was 2 years ago. He was in the mix down the stretch, right? And he got just a brutal break on 17. He hit a drive that looked like it was going on the green and took like a crazy bounce to the left, ended up in the water. So I think he's definitely in play. He has not been great his last couple tournaments, but we talked about Sahith in the past. Like he's just super volatile from week to week. He's going to either miss the cut or he's going to be top 10. And I think 35-1 is a pretty fair number for him.
Yeah, and then other players to keep in mind. Tom Kim did not play all that well last year at 1 under par. He was 50th. Ricky Fowler, again, he's got the 2 runner-ups and a win. 10th last year, but his odds are now down, like we said, about 55-1. Adam Scott hasn't played here only once a couple of years ago, 38th, but he continues to play well. And, you just get the feeling that sometime this year, because it's been a while for Adam, that sometime this year he might break through again.
I'm already loading up my bet on Adam Scott next week. I think we talked about this.
That's right. Yes,
he's been awesome at Riviera. And he is playing well, like you said. So I'm hoping to get another. We'll probably get longer odds next week, I would guess, despite the good course history at Riviera, just with it being a stronger field. If we can get Scott at 60-1, maybe I'll definitely be making that bet. The 2 guys on this page here who I considered are Siwoo Kim and Akshay Bhatia. I think they both just pop as good course fits here. Siwoo 6th best in this field, strokes gained off the tee. He's also a pretty good par 5 scorer. Akshay, kind of same deal, 17th best off the tee, 22nd best in approach. So I think, neither of those guys have – Siwoo has pretty poor course history. I think Akshay has never played here. So that's what kind of pushed me off them eventually. But I do think, fit-wise, they both should play well here.
Yeah. Let's see. Akshay, in his last 4, he has 3 top 15s on the season.
Yep.
So he is playing well. Adam Hadwin has made 8 of 9 cuts, and his 10th place finish last year was his only top 10. Brian Harmon, the USD Open champion, has made 9 of 10 cuts, but he's never had anything better than a top 25 here. Look, Dietrich is just playing so well right now. Yeah. And you get the feeling that, okay, because this is a kid that needed time. He came over from Europe, didn't have a lot of wins there. None, I believe. Matter of fact, he's only had 1 win in Europe, and that was in a challenger. That's like the KFT, So he has 1 win. That was back in 2016. But he decided to take his lumps here in the States, and I think he's taken his lumps, and now he's starting to develop. So he's a dangerous player, and he's trending in the right direction. Berger's playing this week, and he has 4 top 15s in 8 appearances, but don't want to take Berger just yet until maybe you see him contending for a win. Billy Horschel has made 10 of 11 cuts, but overall he's missed 3 of his last 4 cuts on tour. Now, just show you how crazy things can be. Nick Taylor had never had a top 45 in 8 appearances on this golf course until last year when he was second to Scottie Scheffler. So you just never know. I'm going to give you a long shot this week to keep an eye on because you opened the bag on this one, and that's Mark Hubbard. I mean, why not? I mean, he has gotten better each time out in his last 5 events, including 20th and then 4th. So he's coming off a 4th place finish, and he does have a top 10 here, which was about 4 years ago.
What are his odds? He's still probably 150 or something?
No, he's now down to 80 to 1.
Oh, people are on him. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. The other guy in that range who his odds have dropped, Kevin Yu, who I think we talked about a few times. He's an excellent. He's a long driver of the ball. He's 10th best in this field. Strokes gained off the tee over the last 12 months. He's been even better than that lately. So another guy with I think no course history here, but he's a guy who should do well here.
And maybe a couple of other long shots to keep an eye on: Sam Stevens, and Austin Eckroat. They're getting big odds.
Eckroat was the one I was going to bring up. Yeah, my guy Eckroat, another guy who plenty long off the tee, should do well here.
He's 130 to 1.
Yep, I like that.
And Stevens is 300 to 1. But I'm gonna give
300.
Yeah, that's big. Nice. I'm gonna give you my official long shot. You ready? My long shot this week?
Ready.
All right. He is 150 to 1. There's the 150.
Let me see if I can guess. Jake Knapp.
Bingo.
He was good at Torrey.
You got it.
He was good at Torrey.
Some people may not know Jake Knapp. And whether or not you want to get, I mean, if he's in contention again, you'll hear every time he's in contention, you'll hear his bartender story or his security story. But the fact is, he's 29, so he's taking the long road. But he has 3 wins on the Canadian Tour, and since the start of his season. In June of 22, because he didn't start the season until like middle of the year, right there in June of 22. Since that, he was ranked 1,476. He's now 106th in the world, and that's because he finished 1st, 2nd, and 3rd out of 10 Canadian events, and that was, I believe, last year, or in 2022, excuse me. Then, last year on the KFT Tour, he had 10 top 10s, and ended the year 172nd. This year on the PGA Tour, 70th, miscut, not so good, but then like you mentioned, the 3rd of Torrey Pines. That's why he's up to 106th in the world. And he just fits exactly what's been going on this year on the PGA Tour, doesn't he? He just fits it.
For sure.
It's like, who's Jake Knapp? That's basically what we've been dealing with this year. So I figured, why not? I'll throw Jake Knapp in there as a long shot.
It should be a good course for him too, because he's a long hitter of the golf ball, which I think helped him at Torrey. The guy that pops to me, and you mentioned him a few minutes ago, that showing right now at 150 is Nick Taylor.
Oh yeah,
in the mix
sure
here, and is just playing good golf. Won a tournament last year, so I think Nick Taylor at 150. I think that's too long for him.
Yeah, that's because. Maybe he just wasn't very good at this golf course because he just wasn't all that very good up until last year.
I think that's right.
Yeah. So, all right. So there you go. We are, just the one and dones as a wrap because Jan also has her one and done. So let me get Jan's. Jan's 3 top one and dones are going to be Ben On, Sam Burns, and Thigala. So those are her top 3.
Okay.
On, Burns, and Thigala. And my top 3 are Cole, Hostler, and Young. Because, again, just can't take Justin Thomas this week, just like you. Just can't do it.
Right.
But Cole, Hostler, and Young, those are my three. I haven't decided yet who my one will be. Who are you going with? Who are your top options?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards using Ben on here. I just think, and I hope he's not too popular. That's the only thing that would get me off him is if I think he's going to be super popular, which he might end up being. We'll see how the next 24 hours go. I think it's he's playing well, good course history. I want to use someone in that range at an event like this. It's not elevated. It's a smaller purse. I don't really want to burn someone like Justin Thomas when it's not an elevated purse. So I think Ben on makes a lot of sense. Burns is someone I'm considering. The other guy I'll throw out there who we didn't talk about at all as a one and done that I think will be low owned is Minwoo Lee. You talk about a course that favors long hitters. That's Minwoo. We didn't even talk about it, but strokes gained around the green tends to be more important here.
Oh yeah,
the average course, and Minwoo has an awesome short game. Where Minwoo is not good is on approach. He's not a good iron player, but that's mitigated a bit at this course. So I do think it's a pretty good course fit for Minwoo.
Yep, and we've talked about him several times already this season. First-time PGA Tour full card member. He is trending in the wrong direction now. That's why I stood away from him because just like you, that's the first thing I popped up. I'm like, hey, he's on my list, but I just don't like the way he's trending. It's just the exact wrong way you want to see someone trend. But hey, and it's his first time here too, so not easy to win on your first go around. And we're going to close by me asking. So on Burns and Minwoo Lee, those are your top three options.
Yep.
Okay.
Correct.
I have to ask you. You didn't mention. I mean, we're on the West Coast, and you basically said nothing about Max Homa.
Yeah, this is like quasi West Coast. I like Max in California on the pure POA green. That's why.
But wait, doesn't he have a win in? Was it Las Vegas or? It might have been Arizona. He has like a win in one of those. Is that
on the fall?
Off West.
Is that on the fall? The fall swing.
Might have been.
Did he win? Did he win Shriners? Was it?
No.
I don't pay
Is
attention.
Fortinet?
Oh, Fortinet. Yeah.
Where's that?
Where's Fortinet?
Is that Vegas?
Silverado.
Colorado. Oh, okay. In Nevada then.
Is it? Yeah. Yeah. I mean.
Or Colorado. I don't remember. I don't know. We don't live in the West, so.
I love Max. Can't bet him every week. Next week he's going to be like 9-1 because it's Riviera. So.
Yeah, but everyone's going to have him. That's why you want to take a guy like. Well, that's where Justin Thomas comes in, because hopefully everyone will take him this week and he won't win. So.
Yeah, Justin Thomas will be a consideration for me next week for one and done.
Absolutely, and Adam Scott too. So. Those are a couple names to keep an eye on already for next week. So we'll be back again next Tuesday morning. And let us know if you have any questions or comments. You can post that on the message board. Of course, of the video, you can hopefully subscribe to our new golf channel, Tee Off with Jan Stevenson. We are posting the videos right now, both on Jan's new channel and, of course, still on Prime Sports Network. So we'll see you guys again next week when we get into another signature event, the Genesis. And what's the course, Genesis again? Where's that? Riviera. Okay. Yeah, that's
my favorite.
My
favorite tournament of the year.
That's next week. So stay tuned, and we'll see you guys again real soon.